Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. How's everyone doing today? Thank you for tuning in as always. Good morning, Patrick. I think I got all the tech things fixed. And our live stream wasn't working on X again, but I think that's fixed. So it's been Tech Challenge week. Good morning, Sterling. Thank you for putting in the news. Good morning, Martinez. Good morning, Heinrich. Good morning, Jacob. Good morning, Royal Palms. Thank you for putting in the earnings. Yeah, Google yesterday was a beat. One of that, though, was a one time. It's not going to be a repeatable. So their earnings actually look better than they were if you start tearing into it. Not saying they didn't beat. They did beat, but it was one time. T-Mobile was a beat and was down. Colgate-Palmolive is this morning, which was a beat. So there we go. So I'm going to put in the rest there. What else do we have? Yeah, Trump says China Z has called him, but China's saying no, we have not. We're not talking at all. Somebody's not telling the truth in this whole thing. Somebody isn't. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh, thank you, Patrick. Thank you, everyone, again for tuning in. I am ready for this week to be over. This back and forth with all the tariff stuff. This back and forth with all the markets. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. Today was quiet this morning, very light earnings. We also had Phillips 66 coming out. If you have those earnings, Sterling. We have consumer sentiment, the final numbers for April, and especially the inflation expectations and everything else. That's coming out at 10 Eastern. Good morning, Ted. Who am I going to believe? I might believe neither of them. What if I don't believe either of them? Somebody's lying, but I don't need to believe either of them. That's all. So, just like there was a pause, the 90-day pause in the time interview, 90-day pause because, it's completely due to the markets. Oh, it wasn't due to the markets. They said the markets were getting yippy. I'm sorry. I don't trust a lot of words coming out of most leaders' mouths. Good morning, Tony. That's why I'm a libertarian. We will take a look at it. Remind me in a bit. Let me just get through this. So remember, 10 a.m., consumer sentiment numbers and inflation expectations. Then you just got rig counts. Other than that, it's a quiet day. There is no Fed speak because are they in their quiet? I think they're in their quiet period now. Thank goodness Fed speak is in their quiet period. So we just have whatever's going to roll across, whatever headlines are going to roll across, that's where we sit. Here's your mixed market map. Google and Meta up today. Comm services. There's T-Mobile after their earnings. But that's really what's sort of holding the market together a bit. The two mega caps right there. Groups, comm services, real estate slightly positive. Everything else is negative. Fed watch, remember it's in 12 days. So not this following Wednesday, the Wednesday after. We have a pause and then still 4 rate cuts. So the market's still pricing in like the economy is going to fall off the cliff. Back to middle of fear mode. Hey, that's progress. And Schiller PE almost back to 34. Thanks again, putting in the earnings. What else? Good morning, Christoph. Hey, Harold. Being recorded, good answer. I mean, come on. It's just politicians that they lie through their teeth most of the time. You can literally watch them do something and they'll say, no, I didn't. They'll point to the sky and say, it's green, not blue, and be okay. Come on. That's not a judgment on this side or the other side or anything else. That's just politicians. Not everyone. There's a couple I think are better straight shooters, but the majority of them I'll put in the dishonesty bucket. All right. So, again, we have everything out of the way today, so it's just going to be headlines, and we've snapped back to, 3-day rally, 3-day little rally. I put on because I was looking to see if this is going to form into a double. So I put on the reverse little harmonics, which determines if it's going to be a double, and it stalled out. It did go above it, so it's no double, but I'm raising this level to right there. And then we can still use the little mini forward harmonics. So we've pulled back to a very key support level. A very key support level, not just because it's the most recent breakout point, rising rotation zone on a 4-hour basis, and this prior key resistance level becoming support. So this is a very key level, right around this 54.85 area. If we do start breaking down from there, the next major support level is back around 54.35. So in there, if we did start breaking down there, I'd watch for support. We got 4-hour cycles rolling over. We got daily cycles still climbing easily. We're back at the first target of the double. And you see how I put on the forward harmonics just now? From the little mini forward harmonics. That gives me the next key target. And the amount that this is struggling, I definitely use this to be a stop raise or even a partial profit for the remaining double position. Not the full, because we could easily still run up. But that's what I'd be looking at. All right. Good morning, Richard. What, saying ain't so? Oh, so those are the key things. The levels that I'll watch if we do bounce and break to the upside and take out these 55 areas, 55.78 and then 56.02 area. Again, the pullback remains. If we did have a wipeout move, something happened, it would be 53.80 would be very, very key support. And then remember, beyond there, you have the gap fill. NASDAQ also running up, testing that 50% harmonic, pulling back. Oh, it's sitting against a little minor support level now. You see this little area with those spike highs. There's a key support area in the NASDAQ. Got to give this a little more room with volatility. It's not as strict a line, but I'm looking at about 19,160 to 19,220 as support. We break below there, 19.1, and then, I mean, it would be a disaster if something major happened down to 18,650, 18.7, but I'd be watching the bottom of the 4-hour rotation zone on a bigger pullback, closer to right around 18.9. To the upside, the next target is 19,567. If you're using your forward harmonics based off the little mini forward harmonics, I'm not getting overexcited today with major moves. I'll be more looking for stuff to the downside if anything happens. But the level I'd be looking, I'd still look at that 19,567. Then 19,610 would be the next minor level, 19,723. The Dow does have a mini double top. I got to take a sip of my tea. Hold on. The Dow does have a mini double top. Would need a close below 39,408. I just watched 39,400. Okay. Dow's not had a lot of great setups recently. So that's what I'm keeping an eye on. The only thing there, other than that, it's got some pretty significant resistance just higher. Just to the upside. Going to move this level up just a hair to about 40,670. Basing with that. Still, you got daily cycles all the way still climbing to the top. What's interesting is also we've got weekly cycles. Next week, by at some point, we could get top area on cycles. Russell also has a mini double top. 19,909 on a closing basis. And it hit a pretty key resistance level with this 1978. I'm leaving these harmonics on there. That's the first level on any rally. Pulled back to 4-hour rotation zone. Pulling back here, 1938, 1937 is key support. And the key resistance is 1978. A lot of calls selling at the 5,500 level yesterday and buying the 4,800 puts yesterday. Thank you, Sterling. Thank you. VIX continues to just grind lower. Grind lower. Still watching for, based off the probability, still watching for it to drop more. Still watching this to drop. DAXI, the DAXI, climbing up through the second target, climbing up towards the third target, sitting here. It's spiked up already. Spiked up. I'm going to see interesting where this closes with resistance today. with the prior major resistance. But as I talked about, this would be an area that I'd be looking to take something off or at least aggressively raise stops with cycles at the top and very overbought. Notes still caught in the range, testing now the other end of the range. So yields are dropping to test this. Going to be watching where this closes today. Dollar index. Here I'm keeping a very close eye on this one. Dollar index. We do have a potential double top. I'll show you in the 4 hour. Really nice in the 4 hour. Now, if this does trigger a close below 98.83, I'll watch for the pullback and setting up a potential stronger bottoming pattern. I'm still watching for a stronger bottoming pattern on a basis. But if this does not trigger and we manage to plow above, especially over the next few days, get above 99.80, I'm going to watch for the return to the other end of the rotation zone. Okay, then we'd have a pause, a basing pause here, and a breakout to the upside. So either way, I'm watching. This would be a short-term minor pullback to set up a stronger potential bottoming pattern. This would be a breakout move higher. Oh, here we go. Daniel, good morning. Question. I'm looking at the 1 hour, 4 hour double on the dollar index. Do you notice a different win rate with less defined bottoms? It's slightly different. Not much. Not much. I mean, it's like within a percent. If I remember correctly, it's within a percentage. So if you're looking at this, this is not going to be an issue. This is not. It's a very good question, but this is not going to be an issue. All right. Do not worry. If you're getting that nitpicky, don't worry about it. It's within a percentage point. If I remember all the, I mean, there was over 10,000 of these studied. So it's not, and categorized and everything else, over 10,000. It's at this point, with the updates I've done, it's, I think it's over 12. So, but that's an excellent question, Daniel. And it wouldn't be a flat, it's not really a flat neckline because you don't have a neckline in a double. I know what you mean. It's just the low price. And whether it's a little flat or just a spike is because either way, it's making a substantial support area. So very good question, Daniel. Very good question. Well, I got really smart people in here. Thank you for tuning in. And I'm not taking credit. You guys are really smart. You asked some really good questions. Nothing's changed with crude. Nothing's changed with crude. Going to watch how it reacts, if anything, to rig counts, but nothing's changed with crude. It's just basing at a slightly higher level. Oh, the flat neckline you meant for a different chart? Did I miss a different? I understand what you mean, though, Daniel. Gold, still watching. Oh, couldn't even get back to 50% harmonic here. That's why I'm watching still for the rollover play. Remember how extended it was. Putting in a pretty significant topping bar, we could easily still pull back to the weekly rotation zone in gold. You're welcome, Daniel. Easily pull back to the weekly rotation zone in gold. That's why I was telling people to watch your short-term positions. All right, now, what do we have? Now this is more, if you're looking at this, Daniel, here's a good example. This falls into more of a 5 percentage point difference. When you have a, see how you could technically trade this as a double, but you see how you have this mini double. It's not a double top, it's two tops within a potential double bottom. Why is it two tops? Because this, you see here, the targets go beyond the candle bodies. Only the first target falls in there. This is actually more like a 5 percentage point. If you're trying to categorize and learn, this is a lower probability double by about 5 percentage points because of this move in there. Okay? It's still, so you take that in consideration. Just a little point that if you're learning these and you're trying to categorize stuff, that does not, it still goes above 50%. Well, it still goes decently above 50%. Just keep in mind when you get a pattern like that on a double top or a flip over pattern like that on a double bottom, those are closer. That's a bigger drop in probabilities. All right. Not much to talk about with silver. I'm actually watching for if silver pulls back. By the way, don't have the levels on here right now, but I'm keeping an eye since silver closed above the 62.5, ran up to 75. I'm still watching for this to hold and rotations back up. And the silver gold ratio is still very skewed to gold, and gold's pausing, and silver's at least hanging in there. So I'm still watching for breakout plays and pullback plays with rotations back up. Just something you can watch for. Copper. We've technically closed above the 62.5, and now we're pulling back, so I'm watching for shorter-term rotation plays back up. Yen, gonna be keeping an eye on this too. We do have a little mini potential double top, just like in the dollar index. I'm looking at this the same way, either a breakout play, not today, but a breakout play to test the other side, or if that double triggers a pullback to make a stronger bottoming pattern. Euro, we could be setting up for a sloppy head and shoulders. Could be setting up there. We'll take a look at that going into next week. Spiders, nothing much to talk about. On any move back up, it's the gap fill play to 546.69 and then 548.82. You do technically in the spiders still have a little mini potential double top. Why? Because it did not exceed 548.33. If it exceeds 548.33, that is off the table. All right. There you go. So you remember we still have a gap left behind, so that would be for a potential gap fill play and a little beyond. That may never trigger. It's got a long way to drop. So that's where we sit with that. Other than that, if it does break out, not necessarily today, but if it, why is that level off again? There we go. 551.86. The Qs, there is no mini double top here because it's extended too far. The Qs, again, back to the second target. All right. So the final target on that is still 476.46. Very key support coming in right about 460. All right, what else? I'm seeing things. Bitcoin, not much to talk about there right now. Trading against a very key level in the potential rollover zone. Not much to talk about in a lot of these. Let's see. What did you want to look? Sterling, you had something in there earlier. What did you have? Now I got to scroll back. Scroll back. SAIA. Take a look at after the huge earning miss as it triggered a massive monthly double top. Well, it was technically triggered last week. Let's see though. Yeah, it's geez. See, this is the problem. It's technically not. I take it back. Why? Now, this is, I'd still trade this as a topping pattern on any bounces, watch for rollover plays. It can't be traded as a double. This is technically the move that started it because of time frame of a monthly, because this was a multi-month pullback, and your targets go beyond it. So I would still trade this definitely as a topping pattern on any rallies. But I'd be looking at a couple other things. Very good question, Sterling. It now looks like it's easily going to close below 62.5. So my first target area would be 225 for structuring trades, 225 on continued down move. Then I'd be looking right around, if I could put my line in the right place, right around 183, 185. Then if we take that out, the massive target area for me would be between 115 and 100 if this kept going. That's a really stretched. The key ones I'd be looking at though on any rollover plays would be back to 225 and then to retest this. Just take a look at something. Not cheap yet no, that's going to take some sales out, but this is one if you like downside plays on any bounces, this would be one I'd be looking for rollover plays, especially on a weekly basis. Okay, so if this bounces over the next little bit, tries to put in some bounding formation, your key resistance now is back to 320. All right, what else did I miss? What else? I think, where did I miss it? Oh, boy. Do we have a weekly double bottom on the Brazil ETF? EWZ. EWZ. On the weekly. Nah, don't bother with that. No. Nope. Nope. If you're looking for something with EWZ, you're still against the weekly rotation zone, but you start closing. If it can turn this close to 26.75 to 27 in the key support, then you might get a bounce play off this pretty strong resistance. I would not treat that as a double. Not at all. And my first target would be 30. But it's got to regain the support level before I'd be looking to do anything. You want to see snap? Or is that just saying snap? So, snap, if you want to look at, geez, again, vertical up, vertical down, now making a long-term basing pattern. So, again, you couldn't treat this as a double. You can't treat that as a double. But what do we have in the shorter term? Well, you're going into earnings. And I mean, this is just the only play here is against key support in here with a key resistance being 16. So that's just a short-term little play with the minor resistance being 1280. Is there a fantastic setup? No. But if it can pop above about this 1880 and hold that as support, you could start seeing a little mini run. It's all going to depend on earnings. Check on FI. It blew through the support area. Huge volume yesterday. FI. Wow. FI did blow through that. So on any rally now, I'd be watching for rollover plays. Definitely be watching for rollover plays. Look at that. Straight to the bottom of the rotation zone. Where's the next key levels? The next blow here would be 162. And then your major, look at that weekly 60 to 50 EMA at 143. So on any bounces, I'd still be watching for rollover plays. Would be looking for rollover plays. All right. With that, not much else to talk about. Let's just peek at the S&P. Going into the open, still holding that key support area. So, little breakout play into the open above 55.10 with the key resistance based off the short term about 55.22 and still your key support 54.83 to about 54.88. Other than that, just going to watch the way the tick opens, but I got to run. I didn't know that. AMC is trading at a pre-split adjusted price of 27.1 cents. Very interesting. I haven't even looked at that chart in a long time. Woof. The grind lower. The slow. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Will it go to zero is the question. Will it eventually go to zero? You're welcome, Richard. Just don't say there's no Santa Claus. There are kids in the room. Why would I say there's no Santa Claus? There is a Santa Claus. I love Santa. Santa's the best. Come on, there is a Santa. I'm a huge Santa fan, so I will not be saying there's no Santa Claus. All right, let's just peek at the tick since I'm here still. I would never say that. There definitely is a Santa Claus. Not a terribly bad tick opening. So I'm going to be watching on the tick bounce to see how the market performs. But that's not a terribly weak tick opening. So as long as that support level holds, I'll be looking for bounce plays. With that, I shall talk to everyone later, especially now I'll be watching to see if it pulls back to these 50-foot little breakout level. With that, I will talk to everyone on Monday. Remember, consumer sentiment coming up. Do not. Here we get the pullback. Let's see what holds. Do not forget about consumer sentiment numbers. And I'll talk to everyone Monday. Bye for now.